talk about the Oakland Athletics. It's another team profile and projection from Talkin Baseball, which is brought to you by DraftKings. And we got the Oakland A's. They won their division last year for the first time since 2013. They lost in the playoffs to the team that usually wins the division. Jake, did they get better? Did they get worse? What did they do?
Jambino, I think they got worse at the high end, but maybe some depth. They lost some guys. Marcus Semien, who'd been that shortstop for a while for them, he's in Toronto. Liam Hendricks at the back of the bullpen. He goes to Chicago White Sox. Tommy LaStella got paid. Goes over across the bay to the Giants. Crush Davis is gone in that Rangers trade. Akeem Soria, Mike Minor, Jake Lamb, Robbie Grossman, Sheldon Noy. Like, a lot of MLB names out, but a chunk of MLB names in. Trevor Rosenthal, they snuck him in. He should be the closer. Ooh. He got a nice big payday for 1 year. Mitch Moreland, don't sleep on that signing. Elvis Andrews came over. Grosso's in the bullpen. Sergio Romo, Adam Kolarek. A couple other guys. Jed Lowry minor league deal would be Metsy as it gets if he goes off for them. So, man, a lot of bodies out, a lot of bodies in. I think net still more going out than coming in. But, Trev, what's the lineup look like nowadays?
Lineup's been kind of all the same. Few additional pieces here. Sean Murphy taking over the catching job last year. He'll be behind the plate. First base, we know who's going to be there. That pretty boy with that pretty swing. Matt Olson. Tough year last year. We don't care. I'm giving everybody a pass on 2020. Second base, Tony Kemp. Shortstop, they're bringing a division rival over, Elvis Andrews, who I have been on record as saying is a great addition for this team.
Okay. Huge.
Third base, you know who it is. Maybe my favorite player in the big leagues, Matthew Chapman. Chappie, my guy. Left field, out of the park, Mark. Bat flipping season, baby, Mark Canha. Center field, Ramon Laureano. I was going to call him the fighter, but he didn't even make it to the fight. He got tackled. So he didn't actually fight anybody. And then right field, Stephen Piscotty. And DH, they brought in our guy, Mitchie Two Bags, Mitchie Moreland. So I like this lineup, Jimmy. What's up with that starting rotation?
Chris Bassett, Jesus Luzardo, Montes, Manea, Fires. And then Jake told you the bullpen is what they really shored up. Rosenthal, Diekman, Romo, Trevino, Petit. So they got guys that you know. You know what this team is? This team is when your cousin has like a new boyfriend and you get to meet him at like the family barbecue and he's like in shape and attractive. So you think he's going to be funny and like you're like, all right, cool. Another dude to hang out with. And then he's kind of just like, all right, he's a dud. This team has no sex appeal for me. Like, I think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to win. Besides Chapman, I'm out. Well, Ramon and Chapman. Those are my two dudes.
Matt
Olson.
I'm basically kind of describing Olson. I don't know his personality.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Is Olson silly?
I don't know where that no sex appeal came from.
Is Olson silly?
Matt Olson's already dating my daughter.
This team doesn't excite me. Maybe because I don't like the Oakland Athletics front office. I usually like the team. But they excite me because they're going to be good. But I don't know. It's kind of just like, yeah, they'll be good.
Trev, you're Oakland.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. You're Oakland A's, Trev. You got the jersey on.
I did. You guys know I played for them?
Yeah.
You guys know that?
Heard that.
This is what I like about them. I do believe they're a sex appeal. I do believe there are guys that haven't even hit their peak yet. And I'm talking about Matt Olson and Matt Chapman. They haven't had their best seasons. Their best seasons are still ahead of them, in my opinion. Okay. Really? And their lineup is, it seems to me like Oakland always has like a long lineup. It's never really top heavy. It's never really full all the way. They just kind of sprinkle in guys so you can stretch it out and do a bunch of things with it. One of the guys who I think I was wrong in my first general assessment of him when I did play there is Mark Canha. I was wrong about him. I didn't think that he was going to be the kind of bat that he's turned into. And I remember Bob Melvin taking me aside, and there was kind of some rumblings there like, dude, Bob loves Mark because he went to Cal. They're Cal guys. He's always going to play. And I remember one day Bob's like, dude, he goes, Mark Canha, there's something in that guy. Like he can carry a team with his bat. And I kind of looked at him funny. But when Mark is right, he really can. Didn't have as great of a year as he did in 2019, 2020, but he's a sneaky. This is the guy that like makes the lineup longer. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Guys like that sprinkled out throughout the lineup. So I like this team. I'm always iffy on their starting pitching, and then they always prove me wrong. So I like the addition of Moreland a lot. Again, another one of those guys just lengthens the lineup. And then the bullpen, I thought they've added some pretty good guys. I cannot wait to see Sergio Romo come out of that bullpen. Rosenthal, Diekman, Romo, just a bunch of weird, strange guys throwing from all over the place. I like what they're doing here. And to me, I mean, it's going to be a dogfight again between them and the Astros.
Yeah. Jim, let me get you on the Matt Olson bus fully. He's per 162 games for his career. He averages 41 home runs, 129 OPS plus, and he's got 2 Gold Gloves in the bag. So what he's doing at first base, and like Trev says, like there can be more in there. I mean, he's going to be 27 as the season starts. Him and
Say that again? The home runs?
He per 162, he averages 41 home runs.
Turkey math. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
per 162 when he's out there. So he's got 100
He's
plus.
played one full season.
He's got triple digits in the bag. Yeah, I mean, last year he got screwed. He played 127 in 2019, which is a full season nowadays, the way we scale things. So he's essentially played
twice he's played every single game during the season. That's incredible. That doesn't happen anymore.
We will allow you on the Matt Olson bus if you want it. If you don't, that's fine. Mark Canha, Trev, you're right. Mark Canha is an underrated MLB player. He might be leading off for them this year. He gets on base. He's sneaky, like a top 10 left fielder. I know that's a weird way to measure things, but the A's find a way. They find a way to pitch. They get outs. They've got that big stadium. It's interesting to think of what their high-end potential might be. Does Luzardo turn the edge? People wanted him as a sneaky Cy Young last year. You got to prove it here. That's what we do in the show. Bassett was a stud for them last year, but he's, funky, age 32 season. And then Montes, he's got some stuff going on. Minaya.
He has COVID right now.
Yeah. Analytics don't love Minaya, but he finds a way to get some outs. And Mike Fiers at the back of that rotation has gotten a lot of MLB outs. So I don't know. I like this Oakland team. It does stink the way they operate, and don't sleep on Sean Murphy, man. Sean Murphy's a good season away. People think that he can be a top 3 catcher in the game, so Oakland finds a way, man.
They'll be good. They'll be.
We didn't talk about
one or two.
Matt Chapman was not in the playoffs last year. That's a huge loss for them.
Yeah, hip injury. So we'll have to see how he looks, but he's at his peak. He good.
This is how many guys, how much longer are they in the Matt Chapman window? 2 more seasons after this? Okay, that's pretty good. Because this is a team that he won't play for them anymore. Matt Chapman probably has this year and then might get traded next offseason. Will definitely get traded the offseason after that. So you kind of got this year and next year's your Matt Chapman window if you're an A's fan to win. And I don't think they're hitting that like World Series winning. And I think I like the Astros better in the division, but they also are a team that, much like the Twins, like, all right, let's see it in the playoffs. Then you don't never see it in the playoffs. So I like the A's team skill set wise, but nothing jumps out at me like latching onto a guy's personality. I feel like I don't know any of these guys, like who they are. Trev, let me know. Who's a guy that if he came on the show, we'd love chatting with him?
Tony Kemp.
Tony Kemp is great.
I like
Mark
Tony
Canha
Kemp.
Would be excellent to have on here. He's hilarious, and he's kind of one of those weird dudes, but like teetering the line between he's not too weird.
Don't you love Moreland, Trev?
I tried to get Moreland to come on the show before, and he politely declined. So I do love him.
Okay.
There's a ton of personality on the show. Wsergio Romo.
Yeah, it's all new. All those guys are rentals. They're not. They're going to be here for one season. The entire bullpen is rentals. That's why I just feel bad for A's fans.
This is kind of what they do, though.
I know, but it's more than ever. And now look at their bullpen: Rosenthal, Diekman, Petit, Romo. They're all going to be gone after this year if they survive this year. So I just never.
You just have a really negative outlook on the A's.
Yes, I never want to get to know an A's team. I never want to get to know them because I live there and like you want to root for them and then they're gone. So like
So it sounds like you're looking at the guy at the party and you're thinking there's a chance, but you don't let yourself.
He's leaving before fun starts.
You're waiting for him to say one thing you don't like, so you can be like, screw that guy.
It's like, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun if we drink together, but he always leaves before the booze comes out.
He doesn't drink light beer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
You didn't even mention AJ Puck. I mean, this guy is like a cross between a Chapman and a Sale kind of guy. Like, he has the potential to be a frontline starter. So they have a lot of good things going for them. I've been on record to say that when Matt Chapman has his best offensive year, he will win an MVP.
You've been on that.
There's real deal talent on this team. Like, if Matt Chapman was a free agent right now, like, you understand what kind of contract he would command? Like, this team, like you said, Jim, there's a lot of negative connotation that goes around with the A's, but it has nothing to do with the players.
Nothing to do with the players. Nothing to do with the players. I hate their front office. I think they're disrespectful to their fan base.
Yeah. Yeah, I am
all the young pitchers, and this is just a me thing, like you say Puck and Chapman and whatever, like
Sorry. It's just because he's a tall lefty, he throws hard.
Yeah. I'm very cynical about young pitchers, so I'm going to have to see that.
I think the one thing that is interesting to me, I said the high side of Sean Murphy, and he should be good. Let's see what it is. If he does struggle for some reason, I mean, Elvis Andrus and Tony Kemp up the middle kind of feels like their weakness. I do love Laser Show Ramon, and when he's healthy in center field, he's as fun of a watch as there is. But I don't know, man. I'll say this. If this season was to fall off, we mentioned this with the Chicago Cubs, Jim, for all the reasons you mentioned about Oakland and contract-wise, this is a team that everybody else is rooting to fall off this year, so they sell those bullpen pieces, so they can sell Mitch Moreland, so they can sell all those ancillary pieces that can help your run. That being said, I mean, they're just
who else is rooting for that?
Who's that?
Half the front office of the Oakland A's.
Yes, let's cash in. It's true.
I don't know, man.
The day they ring the bell and they say, we're selling. No. I think this team can win 90 games.
Jimmy's down on their front office. I like Oakland.
Their skill is there. Like, they're good. I also am a little upset with them for just losing to the Astros in the postseason when they were like so fiery and mad at them last year, and they were going to right their wrong and beat the cheaters and all that, and then they just got stomped, and it was kind of like, oh, you shouldn't have even showed up to that fight.
Yeah. It was big not having Matt Chapman. Okay. That's
very
for
big.
sure.
Yeah.
Very big.
And no, I think we did this at the end of last year too, but I think the other problem with this team is they are built for a regular season. Like, look at their rotation. Bassett, Luzardo, Montes, Minaya, Fires. You're going to get a show start that night. Like, those are MLB guys. But when it becomes the playoffs and you want your 1 and 2 starter to drop dick, is Bassett going to be there? Does Baby Jesus take the leap? Is Minaya going to be that guy again? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they are come trade deadline in October, but you could say that for almost any team.
They'll be playing for the division by the end of the year.
I agree with that right there, Jake. When you look at this team, like during the regular season, that rotation is above average. Put them in a series where they got to have their top 3 dudes, they got to step it up then.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Framber. Didn't they get Framber? Like, Framber was really good against them in the playoffs.
Everybody has.
Everybody's
sexy.
got Framber. That little tiny glove throws everybody off.
Luzardo, you'd like to see him
be that guy.
Step up a little bit.
Take the
his peripherals and numbers on pitches aren't as good as you'd like for how fast he can throw and being a lefty and all that. And
a final positive spin before we start getting into some other stuff. The guys that are supposed to be dudes on this team are in their prime. Laureano's 26 and a half. That was weird, Jake. Matt Olson is turning 27 to start the season. Matt Chapman is 28. Sean Murphy is 26. Like, this is the time. I think if those guys have around their peak seasons, this team is easily a 90-win team. If those guys are struggling and we're wondering what's going on with Matt Olson, what another injury or something, then this team enters a different territory of ball club. Trevor Plouffe has a question in the back.
I'm going to make a comparison that you guys are not going to like.
Huge.
Okay. Matt Chapman, third baseman for the Oakland A's.
Yep.
Trevor Plouffe, former third baseman for the Oakland A's.
Currently love the comparison.
Matt Chapman got engaged, I believe, this offseason. When I got engaged, I was a horrible baseball player. I got engaged, something clicked. I felt like I needed to go, and I went. Matt Chapman, not in the same situation. He's already went, but can he take that next level now that he's engaged? Got a little bit of, I don't want to call it pressure, but, there's a little bit of something. You want to perform now.
You think it's because your livelihoods are tied together now?
For him.
You're playing you were playing for Olivia now?
I 100% thought about that. Now, Matt Chapman is in a different, stratosphere.
He's just a lot more talented than you were on a baseball field.
Yes. But I like that. There's something in my mind that thinks when guys kind of settle down and they just focus on baseball now, don't have to worry about, hey, what's going on in my life further down the road. Boom. Could be this. This could be the year for Matt Chapman. He wants to come back after not being in the playoffs. A little bit of a down year in 2020. MVP dark horse candidate 100%.
Who do you think is going to lead off for them? With Simeon was their main leadoff guy.
It's looking like Canna. They want it to be Canna. The past 2 years, 185 games, he's got an on-base percentage of .393.
Nice.
So Canna's found what works for him in Major League Baseball, which is that's the great game, right? Brian Dozier figured out he wanted to be a power hitter, so he tossed the ball up and tried to hit it out of the park every morning. Mark Canna has been getting on base for these guys. So I think him, Laureano, he's obviously like the spark guy. He's the energy. He's got a little more speed. He, plays with a lot of emotion. But, yeah, I think they do have to figure that out, and it's going to be a storyline until it's not because Simeon was that guy. Mm-hmm. Pencil him in. He's going to play.
I'd be upset with myself if I didn't mention Chad Pinder, one of the best depth pieces in Major League Baseball, can play anywhere. Total stud, one of my guys. So I have to mention Chi as a guy that, again, elongates the lineup and the roster. Mm-hmm. This team is very much a depth-based organization, team, lineup, all of that. So good for them. They're going to have another great year during the regular season.
Is there any chance?
Chapman, Olson, Pinder, and Kana, they go clean shaven and put him in a lineup, and you'd be like, there's a white dude.
White guy.
Tough. I think Kenna's kind of a little ginger, I think.
A little flavor up there?
Just a little bit.
I have a question, and this is going to, I don't know, touch some different heartstrings. Is there a world where these guys are buyers at the deadline and are looking at second base, shortstop? Because I'm trying to go back in the history bank. I know that 1 year they did the whole Cespedes Lester thing they were involved in, but that kind of backfired to a degree. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You wonder what level they go to it with. There's a bunch of shortstops in the last year of their contract. What does Elvis Andrus look like? And then second base, too. I'm trying to bring that up really quick.
Who'd they trade for last year?
Put Javi Baez on the A's, please. That would be my favorite.
Now there's your
trade
sex
of all
appeal.
Time. I like that a lot, Trev. But the Cubs aren't going to be there.
Who did they trade for last year? La Stella?
Yeah, did he not? Did he start the season there? Did they trade for him? I'm blanking. I don't know.
They traded. He was on the A's, or excuse me, Angels.
Angels.
He was on the Angels. They picked him up. And by the way, Tommy La Stella got the bag this offseason. Yeah, man, it's something sneaky to watch out for. Second basemen that are coming up, Starlin Castro. Does that do anything for you? Cesar Hernandez. How about this? There's going to be a lot of A's articles about shortstops they can go get because we've been looking for the Trevor Story team. If the Cubs were to fall out, Miggy Rojas on the Marlins and Jomboy Media. What if the Blue Jays died and they trade for Marcus Semien back? So I don't know. It's a dreamland in Oakland until it actually happens. But something to watch out. Brandon Crawford, last year of his deal in San Francisco.
He wouldn't even have to move.
Come across the bay? I don't know. Oh, Jim.
I was trying to find past like deadline trades that they've made. They got Fernando Rodney 1 year. They got Mike Fiers. Said, tell us the secrets. Tell us the secrets, Mike.
Show us
They
secrets.
They also released me on my birthday. So whatever, like I maybe hold a little bit of ill will towards them, the front office with you, Jim, but I'm rooting for this team because I like all the guys. I really believe that they will go out and get somebody this year. They're going to be in the thick of the race. They know they're going to need somebody to get over that hump. Baez, probably not going to happen. But a guy like Miggy Rojas, I can see that 100% happening if the fish are so inclined.
If Elvis Andrus is listening to this, can you give him a little warning, a little advice for what to expect from the facilities and the day in, day out life of life at the Coliseum in the summer?
Yeah, the spring training facility is nicer than your big league field. So go ahead and just get ready. It's small. It stinks. The hot tubs are in the shower. So it's just, you're going to have to get used to it. Because I think Texas has a pretty big, open, brand new field, obviously. So I'm sure it's great. You're going to the exact opposite of that. So be ready to grind. Jimmy, you can attest this. Living in the Bay Area is not easy. Especially when you get up there and you got to find a place to live. The traffic is tough. You have to take the BART sometimes. Yeah, just get ready to grind it a little bit, Elvis.
Live in San Francisco and just take BART to the stadium.
I lived in Walnut Creek and I had to take the BART on day games because it was just a nightmare if you didn't.
I lived in Walnut Creek and sometimes I would BART to Yankees games by myself. I'd just bring a book, get on BART, sit in the grandstand, read, watch a Yankee game.
All the way to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
My wife hates Walnut Creek. Absolutely hates Walnut Creek. She tells me that once a month.
Well,
we had a tiny little apartment there. Very small little apartment. It's very hard to find housing there, Jim. We're getting off the rails here, but
Walnut Creek is nice, but it has no character or flair or anything about it. It's just kind of like a generic white people town where there's like big there's like
it's very expensive.
Very expensive for like no real reason.
Yes.
There's outlet shops, but not ones that you care about. Stadium Pub, did you ever go there and get hot dogs?
Nope.
Their hot dogs are pretty good there. So there you go.
Dalton Jeffries, another name to watch. Max's fun stat, Jake Diekman. 15% of Jake Diekman's pitches in 2020 induced weak contact.
It was bad
weak
content too.
Man.
Yeah.
Damn,
that's
been there. 12.3% more than his 2.7% mark in 2019. Both season improvement marks are all-time records in the StatCast era. Short season, Max, thank you. Regression?
I think we're going to start calling these Max's deep cuts instead of fun stats, because I don't know if that's a fun stat right there. That's just a deep dive
it's a deep
into
cut.
some analytics right there. Yeah.
It's nerdy fun.
Love you, Max.
What's the over-under? 87.5.
DraftKings over-under is 87.5. Trevor Plouffe, you're on the clock.
Hold
this
up.
is one I could see going either way. I really could.
That's a really good line.
So the A's, the Astros was 86.5.
So the A's are the favorite.
And the
by
A's were
DraftKings,
87.5. So DraftKings agrees with our fan base.
And
not
I
with
think
us.
that was pre-Framber too when we got
Yeah.
those numbers. So wow. I'm gonna go under.
You're going under?
I'm going to go under. I mean, they need a lot to go right to be a 90-win team. And baseball's a tough sport, so I'm going to sneak under. If this was one where I could circle 87 and 88 and have that bet, I would do it.
How many games do you think they won in 2019, 2018?
2019, 90s.
97 both times.
Yeah.
They were good. The division was a lot worse, too.
So this is why I'm thinking under, because they are playing the NL West in interleague.
Yep.
So you got some games against the Dodgers, games against the Padres. Then you go, fuck, this is a tough one.
It's tough.
It's a tough one for me.
I would literally circle 87 and 88 if I could. But I'm going under.
I was like, oh, Jim. People are gonna say Jimmy's being so mean to the A's because I said they didn't have any sex appeal, and then I was like, but I'm gonna choose the over because I still think the team is really skilled and quality, but that's higher than I think I want. But maybe they could. I'll go over just because I want to be nice.
I'm also gonna go over because I'm gonna root for my boys, and I think like if they get off to a hot start, there's enough bad teams that they could beat up on. I think they're gonna have to battle with because there's some high end talent out in the West. The Astros in their division, and then in the NL West. I guess they don't play them that much. I'm taking the over. I could see them winning right at 90 games.
That's what I said. So if they win 90 games, Jake has to eat a bug.
Sure.
Okay. They find ways to win, man. They do.
Locked. Jake's a bug eater.
Every time you want to count them out.
See you tomorrow. Another episode of Talkin' Baseball.